over the lonely waves, the silent ones. On the shifting sands, the story written by forbidden feet. In the nomadic sky, solitary wings, and a lens that spies and probes. In the jungle depths, the enemy, 36,000 strong. In our hands, shreds for evaluation. Unrelated items for conjecture. Implements of formulation. Trivia times mass squared equals victory on Bougainville. We are gathering intelligence, drawing the death plan for an island.
And since the southern key strong point in this defense system was Rabaul,
but the Japanese disposition of their airfields enabled them to intercept our planes and deflect our potential. Because of its strategic location, there was never any doubt that we would fight the Japanese for the island of Bougainville. It was inevitable.
For 18 months, the Japanese have built and fortified. For 18 months, we have struggled for a foothold. Now the Russells, Southern Solomons, and parts of New Guinea lie behind us, in our possession. From our forward bases, American bombers arm for a strike at Rabaul. Warned by observers, the Japanese clear their fields, send a massive armada to intercept. Fighter planes of our own, and with a sky full of angry lead, it is inevitable. Some of our planes are shot down. repeated itself, and once again we are free. The sky ahead blossoms with still more greeters, this time from Bonus and Buka airfields on northern Bougainville. Those who get through are consoled by the knowledge that the planes from only 6 more fields, Rapopo, Tubera, Ranakanau, and Lakunai on New Britain, and Namatanai and Borpop on New Ireland, stand between us and our target, Rabaul.
Such a situation was intolerable. We had to neutralize and capture those airfields. We had to turn them against the enemy, and that meant we had to go in and take them the hard way, by amphibious assault. Much before the battle at Guadalcanal, the Joint Chiefs of Staff in the Pacific were planning the battle for Rabaul, of which Bougainville was a part. South of the island lie the Shortlands, logical attack point for invasion. But to oppose the entrenched enemy would mean a great loss of lives, equipment, and reserve strength. Enemy strength by the thousand was concentrated around the airfield. Where then could we strike, secure a foothold, fill an airfield, and dig in?
Choiseul Island, south and east of Bougainville. Logical, and therefore to be expected by the enemy. Furthermore, it will delay the entire Solomon's campaign. Moreover, from Choiseul, our fighter planes do not have the range to protect our bombers to Rabaul and return. Re-evaluation.
Seize and hold the Treasury Islands, northern Empress Augusta Bay, and construct airfields there. Seize and hold Choiseul Bay area. Install radar, staging, and PT points thereat.
Objection. Aerial reconnaissance reveals that Buka is beyond fighter-bomber escort range. Kahili is within range, but is too strongly defended. It would cost more lives to take it than its strategic worth. The Shortlands have narrow beaches completely unsuitable for a landing under heavy resistance. Further objection. Any approach to invasion on the east coast will lengthen and delay, expose our inadequate surface tonnage to greater possibility of attack, and remove it from retreat to friendly air cover in case of naval action with the Japanese 8th Fleet.
The final analysis read, tactical and logistical considerations fix Empress Augusta Bay on the west coast of Bougainville as our final objective.
Intelligence units go into operation on a scale heretofore impossible. Ground units transported by submarine to suitable landing points on Ono and Sterling Island in the Treasury Group. Others will proceed by PT boat to Choiseul Island. So, if no land contemplated there.
Good old American flow. If the Japanese find evidence of our presence, they will misinterpret our intentions. We will use Choiseul as a feint to deliver the knockout blow elsewhere. Prime patrols will scout Bougainville, observing and mapping the terrain, Japanese installation, strength, connecting trails, and general ground conditions.
In the Kieta and Numa Numa areas, seaplanes are used. Offshore, naval parties sound and map the coastline. Depth, average rise and fall with the tide, submerged reefs, obstacles, and beach depth. And for a period of several weeks, Marine, Navy, and Army personnel roam, photograph, scout, spy upon, and elude an enemy who boasts of his superiority. Photo recon planes roam the length and breadth of the Solomon Group. Trails, rivers, mountains, enemy emplacements, all are photographed. This open space is unsuitable for an airfield because the mountains at either end make it hazardous. But this area is completely suitable and can be bulldozed, planed, filled, graded, surfaced, and in operation within 30 days.
As the information is digested at Guadalcanal, certain facts become fault and certain faults become fact. The coastlines are as much as 10 miles removed from their location on existing maps. Waters charted as safe actually hide the shallow presence of dangerous reefs, shoals, and peaks. The night landings under contemplation have to be abandoned. We will assault in daylight so the ships will not run afoul of these obstructions.
Aerial photographs show no troop movements toward the Empress Augusta Bay area. All enemy activity is centered near his airfield in anticipation of... He is not expecting attack on the East Coast. He has not guessed our intention. Then in October 1943, Coast Watchers get the word through. There are anti-aircraft emplacements and slit trenches being constructed in the Empress Augusta Bay area. From a submarine, we land another patrol. Scouting report is reassuring. Routine installations and no concentration of troops in the scheduled landing area. plans go on accordingly. We were short on transports, 4 AKAs and 8 APAs. This means the troops will have to go ashore in smaller echelons. Can we risk this? Will enemy strength be sufficient to overwhelm our initial waves? Let me bring up his reserves in time to destroy our initial beachhead.
No. Existing trails are inadequate, and no military road exists for rapid reinforcement.
Can they reinforce from the sea?
No. Our air cover will obviate that possibility.
Can their fleet reach us in time to jeopardize the operation?
No. It is in Rabaul, 10 hours away. Rehearsals will be held in the New Hebrides Islands at a 40 and will continue until the assault and unloading can be accomplished within 6 hours, allowing 4 hours for the safe withdrawal of our craft. Army, Navy, and Marine air squadrons will converge from all existing bases within range of the operation and will be scheduled to give constant maximum protection against anticipated enemy strikes. To inactivate a maximum number of enemy planes, bombing missions will be scheduled in advance of D-Day to destroy both grounded aircraft and runways. On D-Day, naval units will concentrate their fire upon the attended landing areas and strong points. High-level bombing missions will be flown, closely followed by low-level strikes and strafing. The task forces will furnish cover for the amphibious landing. As diversionary measures to screen our real intent, the combined air forces will seek out and engage all Japanese naval units within the area, and a bombing mission will be sent over Rabaul. And Hanoi, we will launch a secondary assault at Choiseul. This will draw his attention to the south and prevent his reinforcing the Bougainville area from his southern forces.
Task Unit A1, 3rd Marine Division, reinforced, organized into 4 landing teams, embarks October 13 from Tetere, Guadalcanal. Cargo for each team, 520 tons. From 16 to 20th October, they engage in rehearsals. Maps of their objective are studied, enemy strong points located, and methods evolved for neutralizing them. When each man, in each squad, in each platoon, in each company, knows his part in the operation, they go ashore and put into practice what they have absorbed in theory. Task Unit A2, 9th Marines Reinforced, stages their rehearsal 18 to 25 October. And Task Unit A3, 3rd Defense Battalion, conducts its operations at Guadalcanal 26-29 October. Of the attack force rendezvous 84 miles west of Guadalcanal at 0740, 31 October. 8 months of planning, evaluating, gathering intelligence, men, supplies, and materiel are over. The admirals, the generals, the strategists of command have finished. With their sweat, they have planned battle.
With the unceasing diligence of their skepticism, they have refined it, improved it, reduced its flaws to the lowest possible minimum. From compassion, they have chosen the course which offers the greatest possible chance of survival to their comrades, the officers and men of the Marine Corps who serve under them. From necessity, they have accepted inadequate sinews of war. By placement and superior utilization, they have multiplied their strength 100-fold. Before the Almighty God, who has been and is and must ever be the mainstay of our free nation, they bow their heads, thankful for whatever portion He has inspired in their final plan for victory. It is October 31st, 1943. Above, friendly planes, scouting, defending, protecting. Below, friendly submarines, sounding, listening, accompanying. Around us, friendly men of war, darting, deploying, ready. And if this enemy pilot spots our convoy, he will be chased, but not destroyed, until he had radioed our location, the information that we are following a northwesterly course. At 1600, we will steer toward the Shortland Islands, and the Japanese will assume that our landing will be made on Choiseul, or the southern tip of Bougainville. He will be wrong. Under the cover of the friendly darkness, we will change our course and move swiftly through the moonless night to our real objective, Empress Augusta Bay.
To keep a chicken from flying, you clip his wings. So several days before the invasion, Marine, Army, and Navy planes poured tons of bombs onto every enemy airfield within striking distance of our surprise objective, Empress Augusta Bay. Vessels in the area were kept so busy defending themselves that they were unable to mount a disruptive attack until later.
The day is clear. At 6:14 a.m., the minesweepers go in, clearing lanes 6,000 yards ahead of the transports. They report all clear of mines and sufficient water. Upon reaching a point 3,000 yards off Cape Torquay, each transport executes a 100-degree turn to port and takes the point under 3-inch gunfire. Minutes later, the barrage is lifted. The order to land the landing force is given at 0645, and 7,500 Marines take their places in the LCVPs and LCMs, ready for the 1,500-yard run to the beach. The destroyers Anthony, Terry, Wadsworth, and Sigourney commence their prearranged fires. At 7:21, this fire ceases, and 31 TBFs of Marine Air Group 14, based at Munda, bomb and strafe until 7:26. As the boats of the 3rd Marines come in line with Pura'ata Island, they are taken under 3-way machine gun fire from the Cape, the western tip of Pura'ata Island, and Torquay Island. The 3rd Raider Battalion, less Company L, lands on Pura'ata Island and starts mopping up the anti-boat defenses. The enemy keeps them under pressure. One by one, the machine guns are silenced. The snipers. It is a 2-day job. Meanwhile, as the boats of the 1st Battalion, 3rd Marines continue past Pura'ata Island, they are again under machine gun and rifle fire from Cape Torquay. As they near the shore, another voice is heard. Fire is deadly. 50 high-explosive shells score a batting average of 280. 14 boats are hit. 4 destroyed. Among them, that of the group commander. And the assault waves become disorganized. Companies of the 1st Battalion are landed in practically reverse order.
These could have been the seeds of disaster. By this time, entire organizations were broken up. Platoons and companies were thrown out of position by being landed on the wrong part of the beach. Contact was lost between companies. The battalion lost its communications and therefore control of its subordinate units.
In time of crisis, will I lift up a man? And a man is lifted up, then 2, and then a score. Individuals thoroughly trained as small unit leaders. Individuals who know the mission. Individuals who are ready and willing to take charge in a crisis. And because every Marine has been thoroughly indoctrinated and briefed on the plan, purpose, and overall strategy of the maneuver, each is able to carry out the mission of the sector in which he finds himself. And as this unity of individuals encompasses neighbor, spontaneity of effort replaces chaos. Confusion gives way to achievement. The battle gains momentum, gathers objectivity, and proceeds without any further direction from higher echelon.
The Marines had been landed in the wrong place. The situation was not well in hand.
Coconut logs and sand, banzai, and a box score of 280. Other boats are on their way, another dozen to be sacrificed on the altar of enemy marksmanship, unless something is done, and done quickly. There is no artillery ashore. There is no time to call for naval gunfire. One unit of A Company, 3rd Marines, lands near the deadly gun. Their objective is to their left, but the 75 is on their right. There is no hesitation. Up the draw past the flanking rifleman, a sergeant, and 4 Marines. Then 2. Forget the book. Snap the pin, hold, and take the count. Toss one. Nothing. Again. It is not enough. Pride, history, tradition, esprit de corps, and a new page is written in Marine Corps history.
Our intent is known. Our strategy fathomed. Our enemy gathers his fleet. If he can sink or destroy our smaller force, the Marines will be severed from supply, reinforcement. As night falls, we are silent, thoughtful. On the back of the outgunned American Navy rides Marine victory or defeat on Bougainville. The darkness becomes taut, then oppressive, then shatters. It is 27 minutes past midnight on the morning of November 2nd. Rear Admiral Amori has begun his battle for annihilation. Theirs or ours? 2 down. 1 and 1, or 2 and nothing? And whose nothing? The star shells and flares are theirs, or the smaller American force seeks the anonymity of obscurity. Once before on such a night, another man, imprisoned within his immediate confines and restrained from the conflict, distilled from anxiety the words which are now so meaningful. Then, as the dark hulls climb the horizon and slide down on our side of the ocean, our flag is still there.
Admiral Merrill had been superior to the challenge. When enemy flares revealed his position, he laid down a smoke screen to distort and confuse, and the enemy gunners, who had only optical control, were able to damage only 3 of our ships. Our radar control fire found the enemy wherever he tried to hide. The Japanese lost 2 by sinking, had 3 damaged, and hastily withdrew. Every Marine on Bougainville was mighty proud of the Navy that night.
Bougainville has 2 seasons, wet and wetter. The average fall is 9.5 inches per month, 7 of which sometimes fall in 24 hours. This is our introduction to the rain forest, and it rains every day for 17 days. As the perimeter is extended, the only vehicle which can transport supplies and bring out the wounded is the amphibian tractor. We wade in mud, fight in mud, fall in mud, and sleep in mud. But the battle goes on. On November 7th, the first Japanese reinforcements arrive, land, dig in, and have to be dug out. The captain commanding B Company speaks Japanese. He moves along in an exposed position. Banzai, shouts. Then the dutiful enemy charges into the withering fire of his machine gun. The captain loses a leg by his bravery, but he builds up a firing line and prevents infiltration by the Japanese. After 2 days of such fighting, we reach positions for an all-out effort. 5 batteries of artillery, mortars, anti-tank weapons, and machine guns are brought to bear upon their positions. When it is lifted, the Battle of Coromokina Lagoon has been won. Marine air units help in the mopping up operation. We have come to seize, enlarge, secure, and anchor a perimeter wherein airstrips may be built. The work begins on November 9. Roads are hastily constructed so there will be no constriction of supply. Communications are expanded. Supplies dispersed to avoid bomb damage. Installations are constructed. Fighting continues. Since any overland reinforcement must come via the Piva, east-west, or Numa-Numa trails, we move quickly toward their junction. In the rainforest, you can step on the enemy before you see him. Their roadblock on the Piva Trail takes 3 days to overcome. Later begins the Battle of the Coconut Grove. 14th, it is secured, and we own the junction of the trails.
Beginning with the Battle of the Beaver Fork on the 19th of November, it was all uphill fighting for the Marines. Civic Ridge, Hill 1000, held the Popping Ridge, Hill 600, Hill 600A. It is difficult to maneuver men and supplies through an almost impenetrable jungle. Units as large as companies can become separated and out of contact. But by November the 23rd, in spite of attacks, counterattacks, the jungle, rain, mud, and fever, the 3rd Marines had maneuvered into position for attack. From the height of Civic Ridge, they located 1,100 men of the Japanese 23rd Regiment concentrated in an area 800 yards square. The Marines and elements of the 37th Infantry Division, U.S. Army, had moved 7 battalions of artillery, 44 machine guns, 12 81mm mortars, and 9 60mm mortars into place, and registered them on all probable enemy positions. In 23 minutes, they fired 5,760 rounds into the area. When the barrage and the assault were finished, the Imperial Japanese 23rd Regiment was no more.
We had come to seize, enlarge, secure, and anchor a perimeter wherein airstrips could be built. During November, we had 90 alerts, 22 bombings, and fought 4 major engagements. At dawn of December 10, Marine Air Group VMF-216 lands to make its permanent base. 7 days later, 4 Army P-39s will do the same. By December 15, most of the fireworks are over for the Marines. Elements of the Army's 37th and Americal Division have been arriving and fighting beside us since November 9. 10 days before Christmas 1943, command of the Torquay area passes from Major General Roy S. Geiger, 1st Marine Amphibious Corps, to Major General Oscar W. Griswold, United States Army. As rapidly as practical, Marine units are relieved.
In 45 days, the Marines had achieved their portion of the victory at Bougainville. But they were leaving no bed of roses. The biggest battles on Bougainville were fought by the United States Army in the early spring of 1944.